Sunday, March 8, 2026. And before this video is over, you're going to understand not just what happened, but who did it, why investigators believe she did it, what was going on inside that house, and what the digital trail left behind tells us about a story far more disturbing than the headlines let on. Because this is not just a story about a celebrity, this is a story about obsession, about the dark corner of the internet where delusion becomes dangerous, about a woman who drove across the country with a rifle, and how close this came to ending very differently. Let's start with what we know for certain. At 1:15 in the afternoon on Sunday, March 8, 2026, Los Angeles Police Department dispatch received an emergency call. The nature of the call: assault with a deadly weapon, shots fired. The location: a private residence in Beverly Crest.
And 8052, shooting just occurred. Approximately 10 shots heard and an unknown person shouting code 3 incident 1920 RD 809 semi-traditional.
An upscale neighborhood just north of Beverly Hills, roughly 20 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles. In the dispatch audio later obtained by Fox News, an officer can be heard saying, approximately 10 shots heard, fired from across the street. 10 shots. In the middle of the afternoon, in one of the most expensive zip codes in America. The home belongs to Rihanna Fenty, the woman the world knows simply as Rihanna. 9-time Grammy winner. Founder of Fenty Beauty, a cosmetics company worth billions. The youngest self-made female billionaire in history, when Forbes gave her that title in 2022. A woman who, in the 5 years prior to that Sunday afternoon, had stepped back almost entirely from the music industry to pour herself into motherhood and business. A woman who revealed her third pregnancy at the Met Gala in May 2025 and welcomed a baby 35 years old from Orlando, Florida. And here is where this story gets complicated in a way that goes far beyond a straightforward crime report. When her name was first released publicly, journalists and investigators began digging. What they found painted the picture of a woman who had been quietly unraveling for years, and who had, in the weeks and months leading up to that Sunday, been broadcasting her obsession with Rihanna to anyone willing to watch.
No, Rihanna, you're struggling. I'm not struggling. I'm having it my way. I'm not going to read this under a fake anointing. I'm not going to read this under a fake anointing.
State records in Florida show that Ivana Lizette Ortiz holds an active license as a speech-language pathologist, issued in March 2015, valid until December 2027. A trained professional. Someone whose career is built on helping people find their voice. The irony of that, given what she is accused of, is not lost on anyone following this case. But court records and social media tell a different story running parallel to that professional license. According to reporting by TMZ, Ortiz was previously placed under Florida's Baker Act, meaning she was involuntarily committed to a psychiatric facility against her will at some point prior to 2023. Under Florida law, the Baker Act allows for holds of up to 72 hours when a person is believed to be a danger to themselves or others. An attorney connected to a custody case involving Ortiz described her as, and this is a direct quote, very convincing and articulate, but added, she does bizarre things. That custody case is its own chapter. Court documents obtained by TMZ show that, in April 2024, a Florida judge awarded full physical custody of Ortiz's 10-year-old child to the child's father, stripping Ortiz of all contact, no in-person visits, no phone calls, no video calls, no texts, no emails, no contact through third parties, until further notice from the court. In documents explaining that ruling, the judge wrote that the court feared Ortiz might not return the child to the father if given access. Court records also show she was arrested for domestic violence in 2023. And in 2025, she filed a legal petition seeking to block a Billie Eilish concert at a venue in Orlando, claiming the organizers had failed to secure required permits. That petition went nowhere. Now look at the social media trail, because this is where the story becomes genuinely chilling. In the weeks and months before March 8th, Ortiz posted a series of videos on YouTube and Facebook that directly referenced Rihanna. These were not the posts of someone venting frustration in passing. They were the posts of someone who had constructed an entire internal world in which Rihanna was not just a celebrity she disliked, but a personal enemy, a threat, a spiritual adversary, a target. In one YouTube video, Ortiz accused Rihanna of stealing from her and claimed the singer was jealous of her.
Rihanna, devil. I'm fighting with the devil himself. And that's why you got Rihanna over there all jealous. Because how am I, because her faith is the devil. Rihanna's faith is the devil.
In another video, uploaded on January 4th, more than 2 months before the shooting, she looked directly into the camera and said, "Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God will take me to my future. You want to kill me? Shut up. Yeah, she's a witch. I'm a watchman." In a video uploaded on January 21st, she could be seen holding a book, comparing Rihanna's face to the devil, and launching into rants about unrelated topics. In yet another, she described Rihanna as having the devil's face and said she did not like her, invoking religion. Even though the devil and Rihanna are really loud, God and Jesus Christ are doing something. On February 23rd, less than 2 weeks before the shooting, a post appeared on a Facebook account linked to Ortiz, tagging Rihanna's social media handle directly, demanding that the singer speak to her. These posts were public, anyone could have seen them. The question that investigators are now quietly sitting with is this: at what point does a series of public, hostile, delusional social media posts cross the threshold into something that triggers intervention? Because the line between this person is disturbed and this person is going to get in a car with a rifle is not always visible until after the fact. And in this case, the warning signs were there, in video form, going back months. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell confirmed that investigators believe Ortiz drove to Los Angeles from Florida. "My understanding is the person drove here from Florida," McDonnell said. "How long they've been in the area? I don't have that information. They're working on that. That would be part of the whole motive why the person came out here." He confirmed that investigators were aware of the social media posts and were looking into them further. No motive has been officially established. On Tuesday, March 10th, Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman stood before cameras and announced 14 felony counts against Ivana Lizette Ortiz. 1 count of attempted murder, 10 counts of felony assault with a semi-automatic firearm, 3 counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling or camper vehicle, 1 for the main house, 1 for the Airstream trailer, 1 for the neighbor's home that was also struck. Prosecutors stated in the criminal complaint that the shooting was willful, deliberate, and premeditated, and that Ortiz traveled to Rihanna's home with the intent to kill. If convicted on all counts, she faces life in state prison without the possibility of parole. When Ortiz appeared in court on Tuesday, she wore a blue jail jumpsuit, her blonde hair braided. She communicated with her attorney, Deputy Public Defender Jamarcus Bradford, through a glass divider. Bradford initially entered a not guilty plea on her behalf, then withdrew it, choosing instead to postpone the formal arraignment until March 25th to allow more time to prepare. She waived her right to a speedy trial. She was ordered to surrender all firearms in her possession. And Judge Teresa McGonigal issued a protective order, barring Ortiz from any contact with Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and their home. The LA County Public Defender's Office released a brief statement saying only that they would work to ensure their client receives the full protections guaranteed under the Constitution. Her bail was initially set at over $10 million following her arrest, a number that reflected, according to LAPD Chief McDonnell, the severity of having 10 people inside the home during an active shooting. That bail was later reduced by the court to $1.875 million. She remains in custody as of this recording. The lead prosecutor assigned to the case is Deputy District Attorney Alexander Bott, the same prosecutor who successfully convicted rapper Tory Lanez in the trial where he was found guilty of shooting hip-hop artist Megan Thee Stallion. This is not someone unfamiliar with high-profile cases involving celebrity victims, and the DA's office made the message clear from day one. As for Rihanna herself, sources close to her say the experience left her shaken in a way that is hard to describe. She heard the shots. She did not immediately understand what was happening. And when it became clear, the reality of it hit hard. A source told People magazine she is freaking the F out, adding that she doesn't understand why someone would target her family. Another insider said, even with a great security team in place, it's scary to realize that something like this can still happen. Photos published by TMZ in the days following the incident showed her leaving Los Angeles from a local airport with her children. There is no known connection between Rihanna and Ivana Ortiz. They have never met. Ortiz is not a former employee, not an ex-partner, not a business rival, not anyone from Rihanna's actual life. She is a stranger who, at some point, decided that Rihanna was her enemy and who spent months posting about it publicly, on platforms where anyone could have seen it, before packing a rifle and driving across the country. This is not the first time Rihanna's safety has been threatened. In 2018, a man broke into a separate Rihanna property in the Hollywood Hills and remained inside for 12 hours before being discovered and apprehended. He later pleaded no contest to felony stalking and vandalism charges and a misdemeanor count of resisting arrest. Two separate incidents. Two different strangers. One thread connecting them. The terrifying reality that fame, at a certain level, makes you a fixed point in the mental landscape of people you have never met and never will. People who have built entire private narratives around your existence. People who, under the right circumstances, act on those narratives. This is the weight of being one of the most famous people alive. The Grammys, the billions, the Fenty empire. None of it builds a wall high enough to keep out someone who has made you the center of their delusion. And that is not just Rihanna's problem. It is a problem that runs through every industry where fame creates parasocial attachment. Music, film, sports, social media, and it is a problem that the legal system is still figuring out how to address before the breaking point, not after. Rihanna has not made a public statement. She has not posted on social media since the incident. She took her children and left. And that, honestly, is the most human response imaginable, because she is not just a superstar right now. She is a mother who had a gunman show up at her front gate while her 5-month-old baby was inside the house. The arraignment is scheduled for March 25th. The trial will follow. The motive, officially, is still unknown. The social media posts are being examined. The timeline of Ortiz's cross-country drive is still being reconstructed. And the question that will hang over all of it: how does someone spend months broadcasting their intentions in public and still end up at your gate with a rifle? That question does not have an easy answer. What we know, as of right now, is this. 10 people were inside that home. A woman drove across the country with a weapon. 10 shots were fired. And by some measure of grace, everyone walked away. Stay with us as this case develops. If this video gave you something to think about, subscribe. We cover the stories behind the headlines.